Well, hello again. Um, Marie's message today is about caregivers and hygiene. Let's talk about hygiene when it comes to caregivers. Um, Appearance and hygiene is very important when it comes to a caregiver and how they care for other people. The hair must be up off the shoulders if it's a long length. Like if your hair is hanging on your shoulders, it should be up like mine is. I have a lot of locks. And when I go to work, which I'm headed to work after this video, you must keep your hair up and keep it neat and cared for. They don't recommend wild colors. Keep it modern, conservative until you get comfortable with the facility or wherever you're working. One of the reasons why you keep your hair up off of your uniform is because of the fact that you might come in contact with patients who have aggressive tendencies. Might be a psychiatric patient or a geriatric patient or a patient with Alzheimer's. You never know what patient you're going to have to care for. And sometimes the patient can have aggressive tendencies. So you don't want your hair to be hanging and during that aggressive tendency, the patient have access to grabbing your hair. Number two, in some cases, the care plan requires that you feed a patient. So therefore, you are in close contact with that patient, which means that you need to make sure that your breath does not smell bad, which means you need to brush your teeth when you wake up before you go to work. Wash your face, get all the stuff out your eyes. Make sure that your uniform is clean and unwrinkled because you want to look professional and you want to smell professional. Make sure your underarms are clean because of the fact that you are reaching over this patient. And you don't want, when you reach over this patient, you have on a uniform that you had worn the day before and sweated in it. And now the sweat fumes, the patient is smelling the sweat fumes while you giving the patient a bath. Another issue about hygiene, like I was saying before, if your hair is hanging and you're feeding the patient, your hair is possibly going to get in the patient's food. So it's best to keep your hair up and off your shoulders and away. Ladies, we have to, as caregivers, as women, we have to take extra care in making sure that our body is set when it comes to hygiene and taking a shower, brushing your teeth. We're women, so we have feminine issues. Make sure those issues are taken care of so that you are presentable around the patient and around your coworkers that you have to work with. Appearance is very important as a caregiver because some patients, depending on your appearance, might not want you to care for them because of how you smell or how you look. Your nails can't be long. They have to be like at a modern length, a workable length. If you are a smoker, make sure that your uniform does not smell like smoke. Your hair doesn't smell like smoke. Brush your teeth. Wash your hands. We have to take pride in how we present ourselves to the rest of the world if we are purpose driven. And today, Marie's message is about caregivers and hygiene. We have to be mindful of how the world see you when you present yourself as a caregiver. You must look at yourself in the mirror before you go to work and say to yourself, if I walked into the room, would I want me to take care of me? That's the question you should ask yourself when you get ready to go and care for someone. We have to be mindful of the tattoos that we have, because tattoos can offend some patients. We have to be careful of the rings that we have: nose rings, tongue rings, eye rings. We have to be mindful of those things, because not every patient that we deal with is understanding of that culture or of that style at the time. They might come from a religious background that doesn't approve of that, and they might decide that they don't want you to care for them because of your tattoos or because of your nose ring or whatever it may be. So when it comes to hygiene, brushing your teeth, making sure your hair is in good condition and up off your shoulders. Make sure your uniform is clean. Do laundry. Make sure that your uniform is clean, doesn't have any spots on it, doesn't look like you just got finished eating your lunch and it ended up all over the front of your uniform. Make sure it doesn't look like you just got up out of bed, rolled out of bed in the same uniform you had on yesterday and went back to work. Smelling like smoke, armpits funky, under the fingernails dirty, unkept, hair look like it hasn't been done or shampooed in months. We have to take pride in how we care for ourselves. If society see that we aren't caring for ourselves, how can we then be a caregiver to someone else if they see that we're not even taking care of ourselves? Be conscious about how you appear, how you carry yourself in the health field, in the professional environment. Ladies, make sure, well, there are gentlemen too who are caregivers. They're called orderlies. There are also male that are caregivers, and I'm not excluding them. Gentlemen, you have to keep your hair cut, keep your facial hair at a minimum, keep it shaped, and some healthcare facilities don't even really want a man to have like a lot of hair on his face because of the fact that he's having close contact with patients and be around their food, and we have to be mindful. Gentlemen, same thing. Take a shower. Make sure your armpits are clean. Wear deodorant. And please, male and female caregivers, keep the cologne and the perfume to a minimum. Lotion yourself, put deodorant on, but keep the perfume and cologne to a minimum. Some patients are allergic to perfume and cologne and fumes. It smells good to us. And some of us use it to cover up bad odors instead of just going and taking a shower and making sure your body is clean. But we might like that cologne or that smell, but that smell can be offensive to someone else. That smell can be overbearing to someone else. That smell can give someone else, another patient, that smell can give that patient a bad memory of something that happened to them in their past, which you know nothing about. So when it comes to hygiene, keep it plain and simple. Have a stopwatch, a watch like this, because you're going to be taking vitals, and when you take vitals, you need a secondhand watch so that you can count. Some places they have everything in some facilities is digital, and you might not need a watch, but in some cases, as a caregiver, you go into the patient's home and you're going to need to have a watch in order to do their vitals or whatever you need to do for their care plan. Have your supplies. I just remembered something. Going back to the hair, ladies. Well, some men have long locks too, so this applies to them too. Gentlemen, if you have long locks, make sure that you keep it up and away from your uniform and your shoulder. You don't want hair falling all over the place. That does not look professional at all. So the hair is very, very, very important that you keep that in up and in a good professional way. After work, you can do whatever you want. But we have to be mindful of our appearance, how we look, how we feel. When you wake up to go to work, how you feel can come off to the rest of the world by how you carry yourself or how you take care of yourself. So if you just woke up and just decide not to brush your teeth because you didn't feel good today, or you had a bad night, you had something personal going on in your life and you just had a bad night and you really don't want to go to work, but you know you have to go and take care of these people. Well, guess what? If you rolled out of bed and just decided to put back on the same dirty uniform you had on before, wrinkled, didn't brush your teeth, eyes all swollen, like you've been crying all night, and you just go to work, people can tell that you're there physically, but you're not there mentally, and it can show because of your appearance that you didn't really care about how you looked when you came to work that day. Even if you're not feeling your best inside, hygiene always comes first. When you're having your worst day, you still have to get up, take a shower, brush your teeth, wash your face, and give thanks for being alive. Because those people that you're going to go take care of are in a worse situation than you are, even though you think your situation is bad. So be mindful of your attitude and your self-esteem when it comes to your hygiene and being a caregiver. And ladies, your uniform is not a fashion show. We shouldn't be going into the uniform store trying to find the tightest pants in there to put on. We're caregivers. Your pants, your uniform pants is supposed to be loose enough where you can bend, twist, move around. Some of us have on scrubs and uniforms so tight that if you bend over, the whole pants is gonna just split wide open. It's not a fashion show. Wear loose uniform. Your uniform does not have to be tight and showing your shape because you're at work. It's not about you or showing off what you have to the other coworkers. And yes, there was a time when uniforms was kind of limited to a certain size woman. But now we're in a different time. This is 2021. There's size uniforms for all size and shape women. So there's no reason why women should come to work with their pants so tight that they can hardly walk in them. And we wonder why we have yeast infections and all kinds of bacterial infections because our clothes is so tight. We can't breathe. We're not getting any air. This is about hygiene. This is Marie's message about hygiene and wearing your uniform and how to present yourself when you appear to the patients at whatever facility or whoever's home you go to. Even you could be out in public at the grocery store. Everybody is watching caregivers. As long as you're in a uniform, you are being watched right now. Because of COVID, we are set at a higher level of responsibility, of expectation than the rest of society because of being a caregiver. So you have to be conscious of how you look and how you appear when you go and present yourself to society and to these elderly people and these patients who need your care. That being said, I got to get ready for work. So until next time, that's Marie's message for today. It's about caregivers and hygiene. I hope you watch, enjoy, comment, subscribe. Until next time, peace.